Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I want you to do me a favor real quick. Just close your eyes for a second. Try to picture a stunning 4K cinematic visualization of the universe, but not as it is right now. We're talking about before time itself even existed. Imagine this primordial, absolute darkness. But it's not just empty space, right? It's this vast, infinite potential literally just waiting for a system architecture to give it shape. Today, we're going to explore one of the most absolutely profound metaphysical concepts ever recorded. The idea that reality wasn't just spoken into existence, but explicitly coded. Take a look at this ancient midrashic text. It says, 2,000 years before creation, the Holy One looked into the Torah and created the world. Just let that sink in for a minute with a real sense of awe. This is telling us the Torah isn't just a book of ink and parchment. In this mystical framework from the Zohar, it's the literal, pre-existing, metaphysical architecture of reality. It's the ultimate blueprint, the master algorithm. Okay, let's dive into this. What if the universe was programmed exactly like a computer and an ancient alphabet was its actual source code? We're taking some seriously esoteric Kabbalistic mechanics here and translating them into what you might call cosmic engineering. Honestly, it's like looking at the ultimate operating system of existence. So in this primordial state, the Hebrew letters are not just symbols on a page. They are living, executable functions. The ancient texts describe this scene of just unimaginable majesty. Picture these glowing Hebrew letters descending right before the divine throne, and each letter is radiating its own distinct color. It's emitting a totally unique sound, and it even carries a specific personality. They are literally auditioning to be the stable boot sequence that's going to launch the physical universe. Think of this cosmic audition almost like the most epic character selection screen you've ever seen in a video game. But here, the stakes are literally the creation of reality itself. The letters step forward into this cosmic arena, but get this, they don't do it in the normal A to Z order. They step forward in reverse, from the end of the alphabet backwards. And each one is intensely competing to prove they are the flawless foundation needed to compile a physical world. Let's walk through this timeline. Right out of the gate, the very last letter of the alphabet, Tav, steps up to plead its case. Then, right behind it, moving backwards, comes Shin. And down the line they go. Meanwhile, the very first letter, Aleph, is just waiting in absolute, humble silence all the way at the back. Ultimately, as we'll see, it's the second letter, Bet, that officially gets selected. But, to really understand why Bet won, we first need to figure out why the others were rejected. And that brings us to the concept of Sod, or the deep secret of creation. Think about it. If you are coding an entire universe, that universe absolutely needs a flawless operational loop to survive. You literally cannot have bugs in your foundational code. So let's look at how the divine architecture actively debugged reality before ever launching it. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is exactly why certain powerful letters were rejected. Take Tav, for instance. Sure, it's a seal of truth, but in the cosmic code, it also represents a shutdown command. It literally stands for completion and death. Obviously, you can't start a living, breathing universe with a command to end. Then we have Shin. While it does stand for a divine name, it also forms the root of sheker, which means falsehood. In programming terms, falsehood is a massive instability bug. It would cause the whole cosmic system to crash immediately. So what about the very first letter, the Aleph? Its numerical value is exactly 1. And in these texts, it's described as this blinding white light, representing absolute, indivisible unity. Let's look at the architecture of Aleph. It is absolute, undivided oneness. But here is the massive cosmic paradox. Because it is completely unified, it is actually way too concealed to launch a physical world. A physical universe inherently requires a relationship, right? It needs a sender and a receiver, an inside and an outside. Aleph is so pure that it has zero boundaries. So instead of being the user interface, the creator designates Aleph as the hidden root kernel of the system. It's powering reality invisibly from behind the scenes, but it just can't be that front-end launch code. So, with the shutdown command of Tav rejected, the bugs of Shin totally debugged, and the hidden root kernel of Aleph operating quietly in the background, our cosmic system needs a hero. We need a perfectly stable boot sequence. Enter the true champion of our cosmic story, the letter Bet. Its numerical value is exactly 2. So why is 2 the absolute magic number for creation? Well, because the value of 2 instantly creates duality. Boom! You now have a sender and a receiver. Plus, the very physical shape of the letter bet represents a beit, which means a house. It's an architecture that's closed on 3 sides but open on one. This acts as a perfect container to hold the infinite light without it spilling out and completely destroying the system. And most importantly, bet stands for bracha, blessing. It initiates this continuous, stable loop of structured expansion. Seriously, it is the perfect boot sequence. And this is exactly why the Torah's very first executable command begins with this letter, Bereshit, meaning in the beginning. The very first letter of the entire source code is bet. It completely signifies the universe successfully launching its stable operating system, fully based on blessing and boundaries. All right, now let's shift gears from that initial boot sequence to the exhaustive mechanics of how this system actually runs. Like, how do these letter functions compile physical matter? Well, they do it by acting as vessels for the Sephirot, which are the metaphysical channels of divine energy. And this brilliantly illustrates how the code actually operates. The letter functions plug directly into the Sephirotic attributes. Expansion and blessing? That maps to Chesed, generating infinite energy. The structural house aspect? That maps to Bina, which processes and routes all this cosmic data. And finally, the whole system grounds everything through Malkut, which is the actual execution and rendering of our physical reality. The letters are the code, and the Sephirot are the hardware processing it. This all builds into a very exact step-by-step engineering procedure. 1. Pure divine will initiates the desire to create. 2. The source code, the Torah, is consulted as the master blueprint. 3. The boot sequence, the letter bet, is executed to create a safe container. 4. The Sephirotic light completely fills these letter vessels. And 5. Physical reality continuously renders. Guys, this isn't something that just happened once billions of years ago. This is a live algorithm running right now at this exact millisecond. Ultimately, reality is this constant dynamic harmony. The Hebrew letters are the executable functions, the Sephirot are the metaphysical vessels shaping the output, and the divine light is the system power source. If literally any one of these slices stops functioning, the rendering of our world simply blinks out of existence. So, what does all this mean for us? Why does it actually matter? Because in this mystical framework, humanity is made in the image of the Creator. And that means your words are also code. Your speech, your actions, your intentions, they aren't just empty air. They are micro-functions. You are literally writing code into the architecture of your daily life, constantly rendering the reality that you and the people around you experience. Which leaves us with a pretty profound question. If the universe is fundamentally built on a boot sequence of bracha, a rock-solid foundation of blessing, how will you program your reality today? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.